Hi, thanks for joining me today for another episode of White Woman in Distress. This podcast is about raising awareness for missing kids, teens, and adults. My goal is to help spread the word and find those who are missing. We need to come together as a community to find these people. We need to stop ignoring what we see and start looking out for each other. I understand that you want to stay safe, but it's important to speak up when you notice something's wrong. If someone you loved was missing, you would want people to help. People who think this could never happen to me need to understand it can happen to anyone. Every day, children, mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, aunts, and uncles go missing. You don't have to put yourself at risk. You can always call tips in anonymously. Our goal should be to bring everyone home safely. Everyone deserves to know what happened, and families deserve closure. Don't. Everyone deserves to know what happened, and families deserve closure. Viewer discretion is advised. This content may discuss violence, sexual assault, and murder, which may be distressing to some. Listener discretion is advised. Today, we're delving into a heartbreaking case, the heartbreaking case of Etan Patz, a young boy who went missing from Manhattan, New York in 1979. In this episode, we explore the disappearance of Etan Patz, drawing information from several reputable sources, including the Charley Project, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, historical news articles from the New York Times and the Washington Post, as well as insight from Lisa R. Cohen's book, After Etan. We also reference statements from the FBI and local law enforcement agencies and legal documents related to the case. This case not only shocked the nation, but it also led to significant changes in how missing children cases were handled. Let's go back all the way to that fateful day in May. In the morning of May 25th, 1979, when 6-year-old Etan Patz was seen walking to a school bus stop for the very first time by himself. His family lived in an apartment on Prince Street near West Broadway in Manhattan. The bus stop was just 2 blocks away on Prince Street and Wooster Streets. Just 2 blocks. His mother, Julie, watched him from the window as he made his way down the street carrying a blue cloth bag with elephants imprinted on it and a dollar bill for a soft drink. She kept her eye on him until he crossed Wooster Street, just 150 yards from the bus stop. That was the last time anyone in his family saw him. When Etan didn't come home from school that afternoon, his parents, Julie and Stan, were frantic. I mean, who wouldn't be? Their kid that they watched get to the school bus stop didn't come home. Like, that's completely terrifying. But they checked with neighbors and quickly realized something was terribly wrong. They contacted the authorities and a massive search effort began. During the investigation, they had noticed that Etan's school bus had arrived at the stop at 8:10 a.m., but he wasn't among the children who boarded. His first grade teacher noticed his absence, but did not report it to the principal, delaying the alarm until Etan's family realized he didn't come home. The crucial hours lost in the initial moments would haunt his family and investigators for years. For many years, the prime suspect in Etan's disappearance was a Jose Antonio Ramos, a known pedophile who had been in New York City at the time. Ramos had a history of molesting young boys, particularly those with light hair, like Etan. He had even dated a woman who had once worked for the Patz family. Ramos initially claimed he had been with a boy matching Etan's description on the day of his disappearance. He even described Etan's distinctive sneakers with fluorescent stripes. He stated that he had lured the boy into his apartment, but let him go after an attempted assault. Despite multiple investigations and even a civil lawsuit where Ramos was found liable for Etan's wrongful death, there wasn't enough evidence to criminally charge him. The investigation took several twists and turns over the years. In 1983, Ramos was seen with a light-haired boy in Michigan who resembled an age progression of Etan. However, after fingerprints and DNA tests, it confirmed that the boy was not Etan. The case was also briefly shifted to Israel when a magazine published a photo of Etan captioned, "Etan Ben Haim," but this lead also went cold. Ramos continued to make incriminating statements, but inconsistencies in his story and lack of concrete evidence prevented a resolution. In 2001, Etan was declared legally dead, and in 2004, Ramos was ordered to pay $2 million to Etan's family in a civil judgment, a sum unlikely to be collected because Ramos was destitute, which is without the basic necessities of life, without a penny to one's name, so he's basically just flat broke. In 2012, a new suspect emerged. Pedro Hernandez, a stock clerk who worked at a bodega in Etan's neighborhood at the time of his disappearance. He confessed to luring Etan into the store, strangling him, and disposing of his body in the trash. Hernandez had made a vague confession to his family and church group members about harming a child, but never provided specific details until his arrest. I want to know why nobody in the church, because he confessed in front of church group members, and there was no one in that whole entire church that called the cops and said, hey, you should probably look into this guy, because he said that he strangled a kid and disposed of their body. Hernandez had mental health issues, including schizophrenia and bipolar disorder, which cast doubt on his confession's reliability. Nevertheless, he was charged with second-degree murder. The case against Hernandez brought some closure to Etan's family, but many questions remain unanswered, and Etan's body has never been found. The impact of Etan Patz's disappearance is profound. His case led to increased awareness about missing children and changes in how such cases are handled. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children was founded in part due to the awareness raised by Etan's case. His story continues to remind us the importance of vigilance and community involvement when protecting our children. My sympathy goes out to his parents who had to wait for so long for justice to be served to his family. And I'm really sad to know that he will never be properly laid to rest because we don't know what happened to his body. The fact that he was dropped in the trash is completely saddening. And it hurts me to really think about the fact of what Hernandez did. And it bothers me that it took so long for someone to blow the whistle on Hernandez and give him up to police. Like, I don't understand why no one in the church called or nobody in his family called. I understand that he has schizophrenia and he's bipolar and like things don't add up to him, and which also probably made the family think he's like it's just a mental disorder. He definitely didn't do that. Like he could never. But they never took it seriously, and that has bothered me throughout this whole entire investigation that I've done. Is that even if I had a family member who had mentioned something about killing someone, I still would tell the police. Only because if it were true, I would want the family to have closure, but I would also want the truth to come out so everyone could stop trying to hide it. I truly, truly am sorry for the loss that Etan's family has suffered during this time period and during that day. I couldn't imagine what they went through and what they continue to go through and what they are going through today. Thank you for listening to another episode of White Woman in Distress. If you have any information about Etan Patz's case, please contact the New York Police Department at 646-610-6914. Remember to subscribe to our podcast and follow us on social media for updates on this and other cases. Together we can bring justice and closure to these tragic stories. Until next time, if you see something, say something, do something. Stay safe and vigilant. Thank you.